Today I want to talk about finding something approximating your purpose or your path in life, because they're not going to teach you this shit in like high school. And I found that once you figure it out, life becomes so much easier. Like everything becomes so much easier to deal with. Everything is noise when you find out what's truly important to you. I got that notion comes from the book Essentialism, and in it he mentions that quote, and the whole book is him speaking about like how everything is there's so much stimulus around us all the time, and that there's only a few things that will ever really be important to us, and some of them overlap between all humans. But I'm going on a tangent. Let me start with the story. Okay, story. This will relate to a lot of the guys out there. This happened to me like 3 or 4 or 5, 6, okay, maybe 4 times. But the worst case of it was recently. Well, lots of guys will know this. You'll fall in love with someone, sometimes from afar, sometimes due to physical stuff. Sometimes they'll lie, and I don't want to go into the details actually, just for like safety's sake. But it's fucking difficult to deal with that kind of heartache and stuff. So like in high school, I remember and in high school it's the hardest, because what the fuck are you gonna do with your life, you know what I mean? Your physical impulses are much stronger when you're like an adolescent boy, and this is your entire life, because that's what it feels like when you're in high school. Your entire life is high school. So the girl you like, if she doesn't like you back, it's like just completely dead. That's the worst fucking thing ever. And yes, just getting over this one chick in high school took me like at least a year, like properly to get over, because I didn't think to like read a book or like actually feel my feelings. That's a big one, which a lot of us guys don't do, and it really helps. But something happened this year that was kind of similar, but it was more of like a one and done situation. Got played a bit, but besides that, afterwards it stung a lot. It was really difficult, and my roommate, fucking love this guy. He gave me this piece of advice. He was like, yo, you know, those kind of things suck. Like when you feel like you're just not up to par, it really hurts. But what made him like figure his things out was finding his purpose in life. I'm like, okay, that's a pretty big thing. I've always wanted to do it. You know what I mean? I've always wanted to figure that out. I'm a big fan of Jordan Peterson. He always talks about like pursuing meaning in your life. So I never actually gave it any thought. I was like, okay, after I graduate, I can think about this, but like, just fucking think about it. So I went on a golf course with my dad and his mates. I'm not good at golf, but I went out with him. Sorry if my voice sounds a bit messed up. I left it in the club. A certain Kanye West song came on and I couldn't help myself. We on the golf course with my dad, and then he like didn't know what I was going through. He was like just chilling. Well, I told him a bit of the story and he was just like, yeah, you fucked up. I was like, yes, I know I did. It's true. And it's the truth. But what I was doing, I was listening to Atomic Habits at the time, and I was like, yo, this book's fucking good. And then I wasn't paying attention to the book because I kept thinking about this person, and it really sucked. So I just took my earphones out and I was like, no, I need to do what my roommate recommended, because he's right like a lot of the time. He's like me, he's right most of the time. So I took out my phone on Google Keep. I was writing down like, okay, what do I want to do with my life? And I just keep writing it down. And the process I worked out, I confirmed this with books as well. So I think I want to help you guys with that as well. And genuinely, when I found it out, I don't want to share it, but when I found it out, life has literally, objectively been like 10 to 20% easier, and life has not gotten fucking easier. I have a lot of shit going on, but I know what's important, truly, to myself. So I want you, if you're watching this, to get out a pen and paper, an exam pad, anything, just like write something down. It helps so much when you write this down. I really want you to mull over this. So maybe just write down my instructions and then do it afterwards, and just turn off all electronics when you do this. This is the biggest hindrance that all of us Gen Z people have when it comes to finding meaning and purpose in our lives. We're on our fucking phones all the time, and it takes away so much of your mental energy. Just being on your phone constantly, you don't realize it, but it takes a lot of energy to be on your phone, to focus like that all the time. So you're wasting your focus time on Instagram, like YouTube. I waste mine on YouTube as well, but Instagram, YouTube, WhatsApp, like iMessage, whatever. Like most of the time, it isn't useful. It isn't doing anything for you. This can genuinely fix your shit up. So start by doing this. Just take a pen, paper out, and just write down whatever the fuck you're thinking. Just do that. So write down step 1. Write down whatever you're thinking. Just do that. Just like as long as you can. Just do that for like 5, 6, 10 minutes. Just like write down, keep writing until you really don't want to write anymore. And then this is the second part. Underneath that, what is the worst possible thing that could happen to you right now? What do you feel is the worst possible thing that could happen to you right now? What's worst case scenario? 10 seconds from now, this happens. Why would, and then, okay, write that down. And then underneath that, right, why do you think this would be the worst thing? So write down that explanation. Why do you think this would be the worst thing for you? Then write down, why would this be the worst thing for your friends and family around you? That's also an important one. This is all sub things of the worst case scenario. And I wanted to keep that. That's like section 2. Okay, keep that stuck. Then write down, what have your friends and family always told you that you should do? And don't do it with fucking vitriol. Don't be like, oh, my mother always said I want to be a doctor. Don't be a dickhead, at least you have a mother. Write down whatever people have always told you you're really good at. You should really look into this. You are built for this. You are natural X, Y, or Z. Like career, whatever the fuck it is. It doesn't matter if it's a career. If it's not a career, you can still make money from it. If it's truly your purpose, you can make money from anything. So that's the third part. What would your close friends and family want you to do, or have they always told you always fits with you? And write it down in great detail. That's for section 3 now. Okay, the next ones are kind of just like easy questions. What do you enjoy doing? Maybe list 3 things you enjoy doing genuinely, just for the sake of doing it. Like genuinely, you just want to do it because you like doing it. And no degenerate activities here. No watching porn, no casual sex, no drinking, smoking, no like bad habits. Like good things that you enjoy doing for the sake of doing them. Things that are good for you and good for other people. Next section. I haven't kept track of this. I'm so shit. Sorry guys. What are your parents like? Like maybe just write a paragraph about your mother and your father and your siblings if you want to. Just write it, but especially your mother and father. The reason I'm putting this in is because all of us are subject to our environment and our genetics, and like there's no clean slate. The clean slate theory is bullshit. It's about 50-50, maybe 60-40. The only one you can truly affect is your environment, but if you can acknowledge your own genetic expressions, that'll help you a lot. Like actually figure out what you like what you just innately enjoy doing. That is good. Not the bad stuff, because we all like doing bad stuff. Yeah, right down like my dad is XYZ, my mom is XYZ. I think maybe as an experiment I'll go over this with myself afterwards. But yeah, it might be like a memo. Where do you always seem to fit in? What kind of crowds do you always seem to fit in? This doesn't include this includes both real life people and internet groups, because I feel like we can truly express ourselves a lot better on the internet sometimes. Like I didn't grow up getting to express a lot of myself. Like I wasn't the same as most of the people in my family, or that's what I thought. That's why I said write that down, what your family does. But yeah, where do you feel like you truly fit in? And if there's no answer, it's fine. You'll figure it out. Just write down what you think. That's the main thing. That I really want you to write down what you're thinking with all of these things. So you know the thing of like we're all cogs in a machine, we're all in the matrix, Andrew Tate stuff. We're all cogs in a machine to a certain extent. We work for each other, we live for each other, we are social creatures. Get over it. You're not a fucking lone wolf. The question I want to ask you is, what cog would you be completely fine with being? Like I know some people hate like the idea of being stuck behind a desk, but if you had to be stuck behind a desk, or you were crippled, or you just couldn't do anything else to work, but you had being silly. If you had one option of something to do, what would it be? And not for the idea of it, because a lot of people are like, oh, I want to be a YouTuber for the idea of being a YouTuber, because people find you because you're popular. Or oh, I want to be a bodybuilder because you look like a bodybuilder. I'm talking about what you want to do, that you are willing to do, that is difficult. Because everything you want to do is difficult. But what are you actually willing to do? What are you willing to be a cog in the machine for? What are you willing to get walked over for? So what are you willing to be a cog in the machine? Write that down and then answer it for yourself. What would you do for free? That's another one. So go into your history as well. Go into your past experiences. What have you done in the past for free that you didn't feel bad for doing for free? Because obviously, like, you wash the dishes, or you do the washing, or you flip and like clean up after your parents or your siblings, and you do that for free, but you don't want to. What would you do for free that you want to do, that you're good at also, but not even that you could get good at maybe? What would you do for free that requires energy also? Not like, I would sit and watch TV. Fuck off. If you had, theoretically, give us a serious thought now. If you had all the money in the world, if you were like Nick tomorrow, you Bill Gates' light here, you have all the money, that solves all your money problems. go into that thought experiment. As well, I said that empathy video. Empathize with that super rich person. Be them, no? And now feel, what would I still want to do? A lot of people don't think this far when they think about getting rich. They're thinking, oh, I'm gonna get money, But like, why do you want money? Because past a certain point, all your money problems are sorted. What would you still want to do every day? That was difficult. Just think about that. So write down, if you were the richest person, what would you still want to do? Another one, if you had no money, if money wasn't real, let's say, and you were like, maybe you were like a trader in a fucking foreign, like 2000 years ago, Egyptian land, no money, you just trade shit. What would you want to do to be useful to people? How would you be of service? In what way? Okay, that's all the questions. So I want to go deep into some of them now. So the reason I asked the what is the worst possible thing that could happen to you question, that was the first one. Take that scenario, no? Like the worst possible thing. If you wrote down dying, like I wrote down that first, so that's kind of a cop out. But just like maybe something else, like something happening to you that would stop you from doing something. Invert that worst case scenario. So say your worst case scenario was you lose your girlfriend, you lose your job, your parents die, stuff like that. Then you'll realize, like, I need people in my life. You know what I mean? That's something that has to do with people you care about. You care about people you care about. That's kind of an obvious one. But just invert that worst case scenario, and that'll help you get to your best case scenario in life, if you get what I mean. Because we're much easier at finding the bad. As humans, we're much easier at finding the bad than we are the good. But there's a good thought experiment to flip that. Just flip whatever the worst case scenario is. So now, about what your friends and family wanted you to do. This is number 2 now. About this, what I want you to see from this, if you've written down, like, my dad wanted me to do this, my mom wanted me to do this, my brother wanted me to do this, my sister said I was good at this. Look at all of those and try and extract an underlying pattern in all of them. Try and extract a principle out of all of those things. So I'll go into my one with this. I was a big tech nerd, like tech nerd and builder. I like making shit. I like Legos and Bionicles and stuff like that. I like making things. Probably why I'm studying engineering, but I'll get to that. So my mom told me the first thing I told her I ever wanted to be was an inventor. Someone who just made things. And I did want to do that for a long time. I remember that. A paleontologist as well. But the inventor was when I figured out, like, oh, inventing, this is cool. The Steve Jobs guy's mad. Then I was like all on that shit. That was my shit. What I realized from that, so definitely I didn't want to invent things for the sake of them. I wanted to make things better. You know what I mean? And my dad told me that he thought I would be a business owner, a leader like that. And that I didn't agree with until this year, until I realized, like, whoa, I'm actually a fucking excellent leader. And so with the business owners, like, an entrepreneurship, figuring something out, giving something of value to people, being useful in that way. My sister never spoke about me like that much. She just knew I was smart. She always said, like, Ashwin was the smart one. So figuring that stuff out. And my brother, not much. But my aunts and my grandma actually wanted me to be a preacher. So that also stings in with the leadership, the entrepreneurial, and the inventor thing. What I found, the underlying pattern between all of those was something to do with serving people, being of service in a certain way. And then I ran with that. I was like, okay, let's go with that. And maybe this will help you as well. Think also about you if you were a parent. Hopefully most of you want to be parents. Think, what would you want your son or daughter to do? Think about that, no? And then within that, find the principle in there. Maybe you can find a principle from that. So, like, I would want my daughter to ideally pursue anything she wanted to, but I would hope it would be something in the healing sectors, like psychology, something like that. I flippin' love psychology. So if I have a daughter, she must really give her psychology a good look. Therapy, things like that. I would want that for my daughter. I don't know, but, like, obviously it's kind of silly to choose things for other people. But just that, the fact, if you're choosing it, see that principle from it also comes with helping people and stuff like that. So I pulled that out of that. So my purpose is something to do with something for other people. So maybe yours isn't. Maybe yours is completely selfish. That's fine. So don't be a dick about it. What do you enjoy doing? So for this one, I wrote, like, learning, implementing the things I've learned. That's so satisfying to me. Like these YouTube videos, like learning this shit and then telling you guys, it's so satisfying to me, really. What do your parents like? This was an interesting one for me. So it was like, okay, my dad's kind of an asshole, but he always gets his job done. He's a good leader and he's a good man overall. Like, he's not the nicest person, but he's a stand-up man. He will always stand up for what he believes is right, and he mostly believes the right things. My mother is very kind and empathetic and gracious, but she has that mother bear side. She can be she can be mean sometimes, but when she's in her element, she's truly just motherly and amazing to be around, and empathetic, and she can really listen well. So from that, I was also getting like, what are the qualities of these people that I want to be? Always getting the job done and having the human touch. For me, it was like something like that. Where did I always seem to fit in? On the internet, I always seem to fit in with the kind of the gamery crowds, but more the cooperative gaming crowds. So the competitive stuff I never got into at all. But like Minecraft building, I was big into that, and I was good at it. Like, I love building things with my friends, making Minecraft worlds. It was like, we can do this together, you know what I mean? So that brought like the entrepreneurial leadership stuff out to me. I realized like, I've always wanted to like lead people in this way and make things better. You know what I mean? So make things better, serve people, lead, all that's like in this little cloud here. Like, write this shit down when you're doing it for yourself. I'm just giving you my example. If I was a cog in the machine, I would be fine with fixing things for people, because I find that so innately satisfying. Just anything, literally anything, just fixing it, like a plumber kind of, or like an electrician, or just someone like, okay, I'll fix it. You know what I mean? Like, the most menial job, as long as I'm fixing something, it's fine. If I had all the money in the world, is that the next one? Yeah, what would I do for free? I do that for free. This shit's free. Like, I've made meal plans and stuff for my friends in the past for free, because I wanted to do it, I wanted to learn how to do it, and I wanted to help them. You know what I mean? I've always been that kind of person. I want to get into the purpose soon. If I had all the money in the world, I would want to do that. And if I had no money, I would still, currently, okay, I don't have no money, but currently, and before in high school as well, didn't have much money, and I still wanted to do this whenever I was given the opportunity to do this thing. And at this point, I really figured it out. And it's just like, when you get it, it's like a saying that you can say to yourself, and it doesn't sound cringe. It might sound cringe, but you don't care. That's the thing. Because when you really figure it out, it's like, okay, everything's easy now. That's like, okay, I just need to find out what's in my way, get it done, get through it. You know, if you're still young, there's gonna be shit in your way. You have to pay your dues. Like, no such thing as a free lunch. And then when you figure it out, it's like, everything can get out of my way now. I know what I'm supposed to do. So for me, all of those things, leadership, entrepreneurship, inventor, serving people, my parents, what they were like, what I would always want to fix things. I came up with the catch-all, the phrase for me, it was that I want to solve problems. That's it. So whether it's someone's issue, a bug in a program, a project that I need to do, anything within obviously my range of wanting to do, I want to solve problems like that. And for me, it was like, this is something I can orient my entire life around. Like, this something that happened, like, is it a problem? Like, no, okay, I don't care. Literally, it makes life so much easier when you can identify for yourself, does this align with my purpose in life? Yes or no? Yes, okay, I'm gonna deal with it. No, done. That's when you figure out that everything is noise. Everything is noise. This is a straight path. Life is so much easier when you don't get caught up in the noise. It's like my constant mental model now is this thing I'm doing a problem? Do I want to solve it? Yes, do it. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to. A lot of times when you're young, you have that thing in your head. It's like, am I the kind of person who does this? Is this something I want to be remembered for? Like, is this for me? Like, that's difficult feelings to feel, and it takes up a lot of mental space. But when you just take like an hour, take 2 hours, stare at a wall, stare at the wall and write things down. Figure it out for yourself. When you find out, that's the best gift anyone could ever give you. I really hope I've done that for you with this video. I hope I've helped you with that. It's amazing. It makes life so much easier. And then I went back in my memory and was like, it's always been this. It's always been this. It's always gonna be this. It's always been this. Especially if you're a very perceptive and introspective person, this can like flip your whole shit up. It's like, wow, figured it out. The rest of my life is just living now. Time's gonna pass anyway. Time is always gonna pass anyway. Figure your things out and then go forward. I wish I would have done this in if I had done this in high school, I'd genuinely be I'm already in a pretty good position. I'd be in an even better one. Yeah, I hope this video helped you. Write it down. Get out your pen and paper, write it down. And yeah, I hope you guys find your purpose in life. Genuinely, I do. Cut through the noise.